Okay, so get this right. It's the future. Someone's got their hands on a mountain of top secret data. Encrypted, the works. But here's the kicker. They don't even need to crack the code right away. They're holding out for something way more powerful.
Quantum computers.
Exactly, quantum computers. And that's what we're diving deep into today, this whole quantum cryptography thing.
And the crazy part is this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie plot. Experts are saying this tech, it could be a reality within the decade.
Yeah, within the decade. A bit unsettling to think about, honestly. So we're talking real deal news stories, government reports, the whole nine yards to figure out why this quantum thing is such a massive deal for, well, for all of our digital security, really.
It's a race against time in a lot of ways. The U.S. government, especially NIST, that's the National Institute of Standards and Technology, for those keeping track, they're trying to get ahead of this thing like it's a runaway train.
NIST, got it. They're going to be a big player in our story today, but before we get too far, let's back up a bit. Why are these quantum computers so different from, the computers we use every single day?
Okay, think of it this way. Our everyday computers, they're like, I don't know, bicycles. Reliable, sure, but they can only get you so far, right?
Right.
Quantum computers,
Right.
they're like spaceships, going places we never even thought possible. They use these things called qubits, which are kind of like bits, but on a whole other level. Imagine a bit that could be a 1, a 0, or even both at the same time. Mind-bending, right?
Definitely mind-bending. So they're basically rewriting the rules of computing as we know it. So, okay, what does that mean for, let's say, my online banking info?
Okay, picture this.
Uh-huh.
A code so complex that our best computers today, it would take them millions of years to crack. Quantum computers. They could potentially just blow right past it.
No way.
It's true.
Yeah.
We're talking about that level of power, and it changes everything. Suddenly, everything's vulnerable, your banking, top secret government files, you name it.
Yeah, that whole store now, decrypt later thing, that's the one that really creeps me out, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Like, someone's out there right now hoarding data, just waiting for the day they can unlock it all.
Exactly.
That adds a whole new level of urgency to this whole thing, doesn't it?
It does. It's like, imagine leaving your front door wide open because, oh yeah, you're getting a security system installed next week.
Right.
That data that's being stolen right now,
Yeah.
it's vulnerable even if the quantum computers to crack it aren't here yet.
Okay, I'm officially stressed out now. Please tell me NIST is on top of this whole thing. What are they doing to stop this nightmare scenario from becoming a reality?
Okay, so back in 2016, they basically put out a call to, every cryptography genius on the planet.
Right.
It was a challenge to develop new encryption methods tougher than anything we've got now. Codes that could hold up even against a quantum attack.
So, build an unbreakable lock, but for the digital age.
Exactly. And get this. Fast forward to August of this year, 2024, they actually announced the first set of these new quantum-proof security measures. This is huge news.
It is huge news. So, okay, what are these digital guardians called? What should we all be looking out for?
They've got a few, but the main ones are ML-KEMA. Think of that as your all-purpose digital lock. Then there's MLDSA. Now, that one's the gold standard for digital signatures, basically how we verify identity online. And then, just as backup, there's SLHDSA, also for signatures.
So it's not just one magic solution. It's like a whole new toolkit for keeping data safe in this crazy quantum future.
Right. And, get this, the best part, this is a global effort.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even though NIST is U.S.-based, they've been working with researchers all over the world, including the CNRS in France.
Yeah, the CNRS, I was reading that French researchers have been instrumental in this whole thing. They even hold patents on some of this tech, right?
They do. And they're licensing those patents out globally to make sure everyone's on the same page, security-wise. And this is important because this isn't a problem any one country can solve on their own. It's a team effort all the way. Speaking of teams, though, the U.S. government is not messing around. They are taking this very, very seriously.
I was actually just reading about that. Back in May of 2022, the White House, they put out this whole national security memorandum. Sounds like a pretty big deal.
Oh, it is. They call it NSM-10, and it basically lays out this whole plan to get the entire U.S. government, like every branch, every agency, using this quantum-proof encryption by 2035. We're not just talking research here. We're talking a full-on systems overhaul.
Wow, 2035. And I can only imagine that's not going to be cheap.
Not at all, no. A report came out recently, and it estimated that this whole thing, it'll cost the U.S. government upwards of $7 billion, and that's just for their own systems, over the next decade.
$7 billion. Wow.
That's how seriously they're taking this. But, and this is important, it's not just about government secrets and, spy stuff. This affects everyone, literally everyone.
Right, and that's what I keep thinking about. It's easy to sort of tune this out, right? Like, oh, this is a problem for, like a spy movie, not my actual life. But how does this quantum thing, how does it actually impact, like, the average person just going about their day?
Okay, well, think about it this way. Every time you log into your bank account, every time you send an email, even when you're buying something online, you're relying on encryption, right? To keep all of that safe. If that's compromised, it's not just governments or big companies that are vulnerable. It's your personal information, your identity, like everything.
It's kind of like thinking that, oh, because you're in a safe neighborhood, you don't need to lock your doors anymore.
Exactly.
This quantum threat, it's like a whole new breed of cyber criminal, only way scarier.
And as if that wasn't enough to worry about, think about how much we rely on the internet for basically everything now. Smart homes, wearables, even our cars are connected these days.
It's true, yeah.
If those systems are hacked, it's not just data that's at risk, it's our physical safety too.
Okay, so we've established this is a big deal, like a really big deal. The threat is real, but what's the plan? What's being done not just by the government, but by companies, by everyone, really, to get ready for this quantum future that's hurtling towards us?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question, literally. And I'll be honest, it's not a quick fix. We're not talking about just patching a few holes here and there. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah.
This is about a fundamental shift in how we approach cybersecurity on every single level. It's not about putting a Band-Aid on old systems. It's about rebuilding the foundation of our entire digital world.
Wow. Okay, so where do we even begin with something that massive?
Well, I think, for starters, awareness is key. People need to understand how big this is, how high the stakes are. Then it's about figuring out, okay, which systems are the most critical? Which data needs that quantum-proof protection first and foremost? And this isn't just a tech issue either. This is strategic thinking on a massive scale. Organizations need to figure out their risks, where to spend their money, basically create a whole plan for this transition.
That sounds like a monumental task.
Yeah.
So is there any reason to be optimistic here amidst all this doom and gloom about quantum threats? Are there any glimmers of hope?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. One of the most exciting things about this whole field, honestly, is the sheer brain power and collaboration going on right now. The same drive and ingenuity that's creating these powerful quantum computers is also pushing people to find solutions, to get ahead of the game. New encryption, more secure hardware, creative approaches to cybersecurity. It's a race, for sure, but we're not starting from scratch, which is a good thing.
So we have a head start, we have the talent, and we're developing the tech. That's good.
It is. It is. Plus, this whole situation, it's forcing everyone to work together in a way we haven't really seen before. We're seeing governments sharing intel, companies partnering with research labs, all of that. There's a real sense of urgency and, more importantly, shared purpose that's driving progress.
Well, that is encouraging to hear. I've been reading about these collaborations, too. It seems like everyone's realizing, maybe for the first time, that we're all in the same boat here.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not just the big players either, the government and the huge tech companies. We're seeing tons of startups and entrepreneurs jumping into the quantum space, creating new solutions, pushing the limits of what's possible. It's an exciting time to be working in this field, that's for sure.
That's amazing. Okay, so clearly there's a lot of really incredible and important work happening behind the scenes. But let's bring it back to our listeners for a minute. Say you've been listening to all of this, you're now in the know, you understand what's at stake. What can you actually do personally to prep for this quantum future?
That's a great question. Because you're right, it can feel like this huge problem that only the tech giants and world governments really have to worry about. But there are absolutely things you can do starting right now to up your own digital security game.
Okay, so give us the practical tips. What can we do?
So first off, stay informed. This field moves incredibly fast, so it's important to keep up with the latest news. Subscribe to newsletters, follow cybersecurity experts online, pay attention to any news on quantum computing or cryptography. Basically, become a quantum news junkie. The more you know, the better prepared you'll be. It's as simple as that.
So, step one, become a quantum news junkie. I like it. What else can our listeners do? What are some other practical things?
Okay, next up, be really proactive, like really on top of your online security. Strong passwords, and I'm talking unique passwords for every single site that is more important now than ever.
Right.
And don't even try to remember them all. Use a password manager. They're lifesavers.
Ooh, password managers for the win. It's like having a digital vault, right, for all of those crazy, complicated passwords. Definitely a lifesaver. What else? What else?
Okay, this one's a big one, actually. Two-factor authentication. If you can turn it on, turn it on. Seriously. It's annoying, I know, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
It just adds that extra layer of security, makes it so much harder for anyone to get into your accounts, even if they somehow do manage to get your password.
It's true. Two-factor authentication, I'll be honest, it can be kind of a cheat sometimes, I'm not going to lie, but it's a small price to pay for that peace of mind. It's like, locking your front door, A&D, setting the alarm.
Exactly. You got it. And then lastly, be really smart, just mindful, I guess, about what you're putting out there online. Think less is more.
Good advice.
Be really picky about what you're posting on social media. Don't fall for phishing scams, obviously. And be super careful about sharing any personal info, anything you wouldn't want just anyone to see. Common sense, but crucial.
It really is. It's about being a savvy digital citizen, basically, especially with all of this quantum stuff on the horizon. As we're wrapping up our deep dive today, this whole quantum cryptography thing, it's really got me thinking. This is about so much more than just ones and zeros, more than algorithms and fancy new tech. It's about something much bigger.
It is, yeah. I agree. It really makes you rethink, like, some really fundamental ideas, doesn't it?
Right.
Trust, privacy, what it even means to exist, to have an identity in this increasingly digital world. It's huge.
It's like we're on the edge of this whole new era, and it's not just, our data that's being challenged. It's our values, our societies, even our whole understanding of what it means to be human in this digital age. It's a huge conversation, and it feels like we're really just at the beginning.
We are. We really are. And that's exactly why it's so important for everyone to stay engaged, to keep asking these big questions, these ethical questions, and most importantly, to be a part of shaping the future.
Yeah.
Because we all have a stake in this. This isn't just about tech. This is about all of us.
Well said. To our listeners, as we wrap up this deep dive into the quantum realm, remember, the quantum revolution is coming, ready or not. And it's bringing some incredible, really exciting possibilities, no doubt, but it's also bringing some really huge challenges, things we've never had to deal with before. How we face those challenges, both individually and together, that's going to determine the future of our digital world. So stay curious, everyone, stay informed, and most importantly, stay ahead of that quantum curve.